Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Kibs Fibs. So, this week coming to you in HD. Hopefully the webcam is picking up much better than the last one that I was using. I've upgraded the camera, which is going to be looking at the models on the table. So I've been able to switch that camera for the one that looks at me. So hopefully you're getting a much better picture, for better or for worse. Probably for worse, looking at my really dodgy beard at the moment. But anyway, enough of that. Oh, I've also had my nog scratched, which makes my face look really odd because I've got a really sort of wide thing going on where I've got all the beard. Anyway, that's besides the point. Let's crack on. So first order of business is the lie. So last week, I actually lied on Dr. Deathmonger's question, which was whether I had any stock in plastic card making companies, which was obviously, I don't know, it came across as a bit of a rhetorical question, but I decided to use that as my joke. Lots of guesses for which was the wrong one, and people who got it right last week are Crew Orange Silicus. Yes, got it right for once. I hope. Dr. Deathmonger and Kurshiki. So those were the three people who got it right. Thanks everyone for your guesses, and thanks everyone for this week's questions. Got a bit of a frog throat thing going on, a bit croaky at the moment, so you'll have to excuse that. I think I'm coming down with something. Okay, so on to this week's questions. Right. Oh, and the truth is, I don't have any Plasticard, any shares in Plasticard companies. I'm very working class. I wouldn't even have a foggiest of where I can go to even get shares. Wouldn't even know where to start. Right, so the first question this week is Orange Lasilicus. Hope that's right. Okay, what are my ultimate hobby goals? That's a really tough question. I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest. I make a lot of videos, but I'm just sort of making crap that keeps me motivated and that I think is cool. So stuff that I'm working on that I'm proud of, I will show on camera. So I don't suppose I've got any sort of YouTube goals whatsoever, other than getting more subscribers and getting more interaction between you guys, which is the purpose for these videos. So I guess I'd like to be able to. Everyone's going to have the same answer here. I'd like to be able to quit my job and essentially work in the hobby. Whether that be making plasticard stuff to sell, or I don't know, going to work for a local game shop or setting up my own game shop. I really don't know, but I'd really like to sort of throw myself into it. I'm very much a person that's very passionate for sort of my hobbies, and one of the hobbies that just keeps coming back and back and back and that prevails is sort of board games, war games. I'm making stuff, so if I could sort of make that my livelihood, then I think that would be absolutely fantastic, to be honest. So I guess that is one of my main goals, besides continuing to make awesome videos for you guys, try and increase the quality and the content. So thank you very much for that question. Right, next question is, what's my favourite Star Trek TV series and why? I'm not sure if this is going to be a very popular one, but it was actually Star Trek Enterprise. Now, you've got your Next Generation, which has got sort of really long-running storylines and some pretty good characters that were well developed, like Data and the Doctor, all of them. I mean, they gave us Wesley Crusher, so all sorts of fantastic characters. Then you've got your Deep Space Nine, which was your space station, which was actually really funny. And again, you had a lot of character development, and that went really sort of in depth by the end of it. Voyager, again, fantastic. I got the idea of a struggling team also meeting loads of new races of aliens because they're off just miles away. Literally miles. Not foot, miles. Sorry. And they're meeting all sort of new people and that sort of thing. I wasn't a big fan of the original series, I must admit. I saw the original series as a kid, and wow, I've really scratched my head there, haven't I? Sorry. So I saw the original series, and I don't know, there's something about it. Apart from just watching it for comedy, the comedy of Will Shatner and the way he talks, and Spock, I suppose. Spock is about the only thing worth watching, and the dodgy accents that the Chekhov had and whatnot. But yeah, something about, sorry, going on and on and on. Something about Star Trek Enterprise was just that whole idea that they've just got the technology and they're just setting out and they're being held down by the Vulcans, and they're also got all these technologies that they're developing as well. Like they went into a lot of the science around the engines and the transporter system, and how in the beginning of the series is they just would not use the transport systems for anything other than like cargo. They refused to use it on a human. But eventually they developed the idea behind that. I mean, I think that's just that sort of thing. I'm very sort of hard science when it comes to science fiction, which is probably why I prefer, as I said, why I prefer Star Trek to Star Wars, which is a lot more fantasy. So yeah, Star Trek Enterprise. Also, it's got the guy from Quantum Leap in it. So, what do you want? So that was a question from Idiot Beer, and thanks very much. Next up, we've got a question from Blizz As, which was: would you describe your Gorkamorka playstyle as brutally cunning or cunningly brutal? I think I've only had a few games, but I'd probably class myself as a Morka, which is brutally cunning. And the reason for that is that they've got more driving skills, they've got more cunning skills, they've got a lot more to them. And as a wargamer, I actually prefer sort of shooting, especially if it's sci-fi. I'm much more of a, if I'm playing fantasy, I want to be hitting people with swords. If I'm playing sci-fi, I want to be shooting people. It's a pretty old-fashioned view, probably, if that's even a thing. But yeah, I would rather be in the car pulling off maneuvers and avoiding close combat where possible. So yes, brutally cunning. Next is the real Mithril. Says Marvel or DC and why? God. So I have never read a comic. As hard as that is to believe, I've actually never read a comic. So my impression of DC and Marvel comes solely from TV series, films as well. So I mean, I love Flash. At the moment, I'm really into Flash and Arrow. Supergirl's just come on, but that's a bit dodgy, to be honest. I'm really on the fence on that one. So I really like those. But Marvel, you've got this sort of whole expanded universe of where everything sort of ties in, and the films are fantastic. And there's the series like Daredevil that are going to tie into it, and they're releasing a new one. I forget the name. Somebody Carter, maybe. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the way that the TV series sort of matches up at certain points with the different films that are coming out, like the Avengers and Captain America and all that. And of course, I play Legendary, which is all Marvel characters. So I'm going to go with Marvel on this one. I really enjoy watching the sort of more gritty DC stuff. Never been that much of a Batman fan either. I watch him, but I don't know, something about his character. No. Apart from the memes you get, which are quite funny. I am Batman. So, yeah, Marvel is my answer on that one. Okay. Dr. Deathmonger asks, when you were growing up, did your parents ever take advantage of your colourblindness and dress you in any garish clothing? I think this says garish clothing. And has my wife ever done so? Funny you should mention that. My wife actually, when I was graduating, convinced me to wear a pink tie to my graduation. So when I'm holding up the sort of paper thing with the black hat on with the tassely bits, I've got this with the gown. I've got this pink tie on. So that's forever a memory. She's a one. Luckily, she doesn't watch these, so she won't find out I'm bad mouthing her. Okay, so Kuroshiki has asked, cats, dogs, or neither? Do I like them? Now, I don't like cats because they just treat you like they own you. Let's be honest. I'm going to be making so many enemies here because people who like cats go full on cat. They're not just part cat, just a little bit cat. They are full on cat. And to be honest, I have a lot of sort of chest problems. And whenever I used to sleep around friends' houses, and even now when I go and visit people who've got cats, it really gets on my chest. So that's that. And I get the same problem with dogs, to be honest. And I have enough crap in my life. Literally shit. I have enough shit in my life with having the two twins, obviously now just Jacob. He isn't yet potty trained. So I deal with enough crap without needing to walk a dog twice, 3 times a day and then pick up their shit off the grass. Excuse my language. So for that reason, I'm not really a fan of dogs either. As much as I like the idea of a dog, it's just and the fact that you can't really have a dog if you work full time because that's just cruelty. To be honest, dogs need companionship. There are certain dogs that handle it well, but most dogs will suffer if you leave him by himself for so many hours a day. Everyone I know who has dogs now tend to go home at lunch and see their dogs and that sort of thing. Right. So Big Back Dan Skull has asked, is it better to beg for forgiveness or ask for permission? Wow. I think I'm more of a ask for permission, maybe? Yeah. That's a really difficult question. That's a bit philosophical for this time on a Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to go with asking for permission. I'm quite a sort of unconflict person, so if I can avoid pissing somebody off at all costs, I will. And that concludes the questions. So thank you very much for today's questions. Have a guess which one was the lie. It'd be interesting to see if many people can figure out this one. And send me your questions for next week. I'm really enjoying this series, and I think it's really sort of promoting some communication between me and you guys. So it's good to get that going on. Right, not really much else to say other than thank you for watching. Have a good Sunday, and I will no doubt have a video out in the next few days. So stay well, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.